Everyone's been talking about one by-election, Makerfield. But while all the attention has been focused there, two other UK parliamentary by-elections are taking place in Scotland that have barely been discussed at all. That's Aberdeen South and Arbroath and Broughty Ferry. In this video I'm going to break down both contests and give my prediction for how I think they'll play out. Hello, I'm John and welcome to John's Box, my YouTube channel. As you've just heard in the introduction, there are two other by-elections happening, or going to happen, in Scotland. Of course everybody's focused on Makerfield, but let's analyse the other two by-elections, one in Aberdeen South and the other in Arbroath and Broughty Ferry. First we'll look at the Aberdeen South constituency. Here you see the 2024 result with Stephen Flynn, who's now sitting in the Scottish Parliament, marginally ahead of Labour and the Conservatives, who are fighting it out for second, with Reform UK well back there. So yeah, that majority was 3,700, just over. Turnout was 58%. So this by-election in Aberdeen South is expected to be relatively competitive, with 7 declared candidates standing from the major parties and smaller challengers. In terms of turnout, I think it's going to be similar to the 2024 election. That reflects a strong tradition of engagement in the constituency, though still noticeably lower than peak generation election levels, for example in the 1980s and the 1990s. So here is my prediction up on screen, and the Conservatives gained this seat from the SNP. The Conservatives on 34%, and then the SNP close second on 32%, Labour third on 20%, Reform UK fourth on 8%, Lib Dems fifth on 4%, and Greens closing the list. So as I've said, the Aberdeen South would deliver a Conservative gain, and as you can see, in what was a tightly two-horse race, the result will be shaped by a combination of SNP support slipping following recent leadership controversy in Scotland, the expenses scandal, and a consolidation of unionist voters behind the Conservatives. Labour would fall back into third place, as we've mentioned, unable to capitalise on SNP weakness, and the other two parties taking smaller share of the votes. Overall, it would signal a notable shift in the constituency's political balance. Turning now to Arbroath and the Broughty Ferry. This is a closely fought Scottish Westminster by-election triggered after the SNP Stephen Gethin stepped down following his move to Holyrood. At the 2024 general election, the SNP held the seat by just 859 votes over Labour, making it one of their most marginal wins in Scotland. The campaign so far has been relatively low profile nationally, but locally it has been shaped by tight SNP-Labour contest once again, with both sides treating it as a key test of their support in eastern Scotland. Here's the result from the July 2024 election. As you can see there, a marginal win for the SNP there. This time there are just 5 candidates representing the main political parties. Turnout is likely to be fairly typical, probably in the mid to high 50s. The campaign, as we said, has been low profile, and both sides, both SNP and Labour, will be treating it as a key test of their support in eastern Scotland. As I said, it's going to be very, very tight, and in my opinion the most plausible outcome would be a highly marginal SNP hold or a very narrow Labour gain, depending on local swim. But in my opinion, it's going to look like this: SNP holding on at 35%, Labour just behind, the Conservatives on 18%, Reform UK on 8%, and the Lib Dems just holding on to their deposit at 5%. So this would suggest the SNP just about holding on, but with their majority effectively wiped out. Not that it was a big one anyway. Labour would be Labour would fall short, reflecting the seat's 2024 marginal nature and the modest anti-incumbent swing. The Conservatives would remain competitive but clearly third, while Reform and the Lib Dems would take smaller protest and tactical shares. So that's my breakdown and prediction for the two Scottish Westminster by-elections in Aberdeen South and Arbroath and Broughty Ferry. Both seats look set to be closely contested, with Aberdeen South leaning towards a narrow Conservative gain, and Arbroath and Broughty Ferry likely remaining an extremely tight SNP-Labour battle, potentially decided by just a handful of votes. If you've enjoyed this analysis, make sure to check out my other video covering the Makerfield by-election, where I go through a very different three-way contest and give my full prediction for that result. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in another video on John's Box, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you again, and see you in another video. I'll be back with a results roundup on Friday. Bye for now.